There's a quiet freedom that arises when you stop gripping so tightly to everything around you. I'm not talking about giving up on life or becoming careless. I'm talking about the gentle release that happens deep within your soul when you no longer let fear, pressure, and the urge to control every outcome chain you down. Here's something most people never realize. The pain you carry isn't always from what's happening in your life. Often it's from how desperately you're holding on. As the old wisdom says, what you cling to is what you lose. Think about it for a moment. That job you're terrified of losing. The relationship you're trying to keep alive at any cost. The image of yourself you're constantly protecting. They exhaust you because you've woven them into your idea of survival. But what if letting go isn't giving up? What if letting go is where real wisdom begins? Maybe, just maybe, life starts flowing the moment you loosen your grip. If you've been feeling anxious, stuck, or invisible despite doing everything you thought was right, this message is for you. Stay with me until the end. There's a final lesson I'll share that could quietly transform how you see your entire life. And if there's only one thing you take away today, let it be that, because sometimes that's all you need to finally breathe. Lesson 1: The illusion of control and the power of letting go. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it feels to keep everything under your grip? We spend so much of our lives trying to hold on, clinging to plans, people, and outcomes, as if our entire world depends on them staying exactly as we want. Yet the truth is, the more you tighten your fist around sand, the quicker it slips away. Control gives us an illusion of safety, a feeling that if we just manage every detail, nothing will collapse. But control is nothing more than the mind's most convincing mirage. In reality, it rarely brings peace. It only deepens fear. Fear of losing what you're gripping, fear of failing, fear that if anything goes off plan, you will somehow be less. In Buddhist teachings, there is the principle of non-attachment. This isn't about giving up or becoming indifferent. It is about allowing life to unfold without chaining it to your expectations. You are not here to own life. You are here to experience it. And the tighter you hold on to it, the more it resists your touch. Look back at your life for a moment. How much energy have you poured into overthinking situations, micromanaging what others think, trying to save relationships that were already drifting away, or worrying about problems that haven't even arrived yet? Did any of that give you true peace? Or did it simply leave you feeling more pressured and burdened? Now, imagine an entirely different way of being. Imagine waking up tomorrow and just for one day, choosing not to interfere. Instead of trying to script every hour, you simply breathe, observe, and respond with presence. You respond, not react. And you do so with calm rather than control. Ask yourself honestly, what am I so afraid will happen if I let go today? Most of the time, the answer isn't real danger. It's discomfort. But discomfort is the sacred doorway to growth. That job you didn't get? Perhaps it was never aligned with your deeper journey. That relationship that ended? Maybe it was meant to be a chapter, not the entire story. Life is always whispering guidance, but our resistance makes it hard to hear. When you let go, life doesn't fall apart. It falls into place. Maybe not where you imagined, but often where your soul has been waiting to arrive. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the courage to trust the river instead of fighting its current. Next time you catch yourself tightening with worry, pause, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, is this worth the weight I'm carrying? Then loosen your grip, even if just a little. Allow trust to flow in, and see what unfolds before you. A wise monk once said, "Peace does not mean to be in a place without noise, trouble, or hard work. Peace means to be in the midst of those things and remain calm in your heart. That calm is not born from control, it is born from trust." What if letting go is the doorway to the peace you've been seeking all along? What if the version of yourself you are trying to force is not the one you're meant to become? Perhaps surrender is the most powerful act you could ever choose. Remember this gentle truth. If you wish to soar high in the sky, you must first release your hold on the ground. If you wish to move forward, you must loosen your grip on the past that anchors you. Let go, and let life meet you where you're meant to be. Lesson 2. The paradox of detachment, finding strength through release. Have you ever noticed that the things you cling to most tightly often hold you back the most? We live in a world where success is measured by outcomes, where worth is validated by numbers, and where every day feels like a race to prove we matter. But the truth is, the harder you pull on life's strings, the less freedom you feel. Think of a kite. It doesn't soar because you grip its string with all your strength. It rises when you give it the space to dance with the wind. This is the quiet paradox of detachment. The moment you stop desperately needing something, you begin to draw it towards you in a way that feels effortless. Letting go doesn't mean losing control. It means gaining a deeper kind of power, one that is rooted in wisdom rather than fear. In Buddhist teachings, detachment is often misunderstood. People think it means you stop caring or that you withdraw from life. But true detachment is the opposite. It is showing up completely, mindfully, and without being bound by the fear of what might happen next. When you're detached, you remain deeply connected. You just no longer live imprisoned by the need to control every outcome. Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. It's not because wanting something is wrong. It's because when you believe you need that thing to define your worth, you surrender your freedom. Detachment is not about giving up on life's joys and dreams. It is about acting from a place of truth rather than desperation, from clarity rather than confusion. Think for a moment about your own journey. Perhaps you poured your entire soul into a career opportunity, a relationship, or a long-held dream. The more you pushed, the more it slipped away. You spent nights replaying every conversation, rewriting plans, and trying to force the outcome. But did that bring you peace? Or did it leave you more anxious and disconnected from yourself? Because here is the deeper truth. Your true power doesn't come from how tightly you hold on. It comes from your presence. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop clinging. You shift from asking, "Will this work out?" to, "Is this true for me right now?" That one simple question changes everything. Suddenly, you're no longer reacting out of fear, but responding with alignment and sincerity. Try this practice. Set your intention with clarity. Speak honestly and act sincerely. But then, release the outcome. Trust that what is meant for you will find you in its own time. In meditation, reflect on the truth of impermanence. Watch your thoughts and feelings rise and fade like waves upon the shore. Nothing stays forever. Not pain, not joy, not even your worries. Ask yourself, am I pushing too hard for something that should unfold naturally? So often, what we try to force falls apart. But what we nurture with gentle presence grows with quiet strength. Letting go is not weakness. It is the wisdom of understanding that while control is an illusion, presence is where your true power resides. Consider this. Has clinging ever brought you peace? Or has it only multiplied your pain? Has it given you clarity? Or has it tangled your thoughts into confusion? Perhaps letting go is the hidden doorway to everything you've been running towards. Remember, a seed doesn't bloom because you command it to grow. It blooms when you give it space, light, and time. Detachment doesn't cut you off from life. It positions you to rise with it. Real power flows not from anxious control, but from authentic presence. So today, loosen your grip. Allow the kite of your life to rise with the wind. Let go and trust that life will lift you to exactly where you're meant to be. Lesson 3. Why caring too much can hurt more than help. Have you ever cared so deeply about something or someone that it felt like your entire being was wrapped around them? At first it seems noble, wanting to protect, fix, support, and ensure everything is just right. But sometimes, in our desperate caring, we end up suffocating, the very thing we're trying to keep alive. Think about it. We smother our dreams with perfectionism, expecting flawless results before we even begin. We burden our relationships with silent expectations, hoping others will read our minds and meet our unspoken needs. We press down on our own peace with the weight of constant self-criticism and pressure to be better. On the surface, this caring feels like love, but often it's fear wearing the mask of love. Fear of losing control, fear of being unworthy, fear that without constant proving we will not be seen or loved. Yet just like a small flame, love and purpose need air to grow. Too much grasping, and the flame flickers out. Caring deeply does not mean holding on desperately. You might have felt it, the heavy exhaustion of trying to keep everything and everyone together all the time. You say yes when your body is crying out for rest. You take responsibility for emotions that aren't yours to carry. You try to solve problems that were never yours to fix. It feels like compassion, but it is actually over-responsibility. And that doesn't create deeper connection. It creates quiet burnout and resentment within your spirit. In Buddhist wisdom, loving kindness isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about presence, being fully with someone or with yourself without needing to fix, force, or manage the moment. It's allowing life to breathe, to unfold as it will, without your constant interference. True care creates space, and within that space, growth happens naturally. Pause and ask yourself honestly, am I trying to be everything for everyone around me? This urge is not compassion. It is ego disguised as service. It is the part of us that needs to feel needed, to believe we are worthy. Real compassion begins when you allow people to walk their own journeys, even when their path is messy or doesn't align with your ideals. It is when you release the need to be understood all the time and the compulsion to control how others see you. When your sense of worth is tied to how others respond to your care, your love becomes conditional without you realizing it. Subtle, but heavy. That is not love. That is fear pretending to be love. Try reframing care as simple presence. Sit with someone in their pain without offering solutions. Support someone's journey without forcing your opinions upon them. And allow yourself to rest without guilt. Not because you're trying to earn your worth, but because you already are worthy, as you are. Release the anxious attachments, the constant checking your phone, the fear of being forgotten, the spiral of overthinking every word after a conversation. That isn't intuition. That is insecurity. And if you don't meet it with awareness, it will sabotage your peace. Ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped managing everything? If you trusted that people could survive without your constant intervention, that situations could resolve without your forced solutions, you would become lighter, freer, and ironically, your relationships would deepen because they would be built on trust, not tension. Remember this gentle truth: not everything is yours to carry. You are allowed to care deeply without controlling, to love fiercely without losing yourself, to give generously without grasping. Ask yourself today, is my care rooted in love, or is it driven by the fear of not being enough? This is your quiet invitation to stop trying so hard. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to exhaust yourself to prove your value. Let the flame breathe. Let your soul breathe. Let go, not because you don't care, but because you finally understand what real, liberating care looks like. And in that letting go, you will find everything falling softly into place: peace, clarity, and the connection your heart has always longed for. Lesson 4. The quiet power of the whatever mindset. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to control life, the more restless and chaotic your mind becomes? We spend so much energy trying to bend reality to our expectations, managing people, forcing plans, clinging to certainty. But there is a gentle mindset that holds a hidden power, one that can transform the way you move through your days. It is what some call the whatever mindset. But don't misunderstand, this isn't about apathy or indifference. True whatever arises from grounded wisdom. It whispers, Whatever happens, happens. I remain. This isn't giving up. It's anchoring yourself in something far deeper than outcomes. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. Plans dissolve, people change, dreams shift shape with time. The mind's reflex is to panic, to resist what is, to scramble for control. But peace isn't found by forcing everything to go your way. Peace is found in your ability to remain calm when it doesn't. Think of a mountain standing tall against strong winds. The wind rushes and roars, but the mountain does not flinch or argue with the storm. It remains silently rooted in its being. This is the essence of the whatever mindset spiritual confidence. It is the quiet knowing that you can handle life as it comes, not just when it is comfortable. It is trusting your inner steadiness, even when the world around you feels unsteady. From this grounded space, clarity emerges. You stop overreacting to every small disturbance. You stop taking everything so personally. You begin to choose peace over pride, presence over reaction. Try practicing radical neutrality in your daily life. The next time someone says something that triggers your emotions, pause before responding. Observe your feelings with compassion instead of obeying them instantly. Ask yourself, does this situation really need my reaction or just my awareness? When chaos arises, remind yourself gently, this does not define me, because it truly doesn't. Your worth is not tied to the smoothness of your day or the approval of others. Your worth is revealed in how calmly you hold yourself when everything feels uncertain. Use humor as a spiritual tool. When life throws unexpected obstacles, smile softly. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Most things won't, so don't let them steal 5 hours of your precious peace today. Sometimes, peace isn't found by chasing answers, but by releasing the need to have them at all. Ask yourself, can I remain calm while life changes around me? Because if your peace depends on everything staying stable, you will never truly be at peace. But if your peace is rooted in presence, acceptance, and inner trust, no storm will uproot you. The whatever mindset doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because when you stop needing things to happen in a certain way, you begin to live in harmony with life itself. You stop resisting. You start flowing. You become like the mountain, anchored, steady, unmoved. So the next time life spins sideways, take a gentle breath and remind yourself, whatever happens, happens. I remain. That isn't weakness. That is true mastery. Because letting go isn't about losing control. It's about trusting life enough to meet it exactly where you are. And when you do, you'll find that everything you were seeking, clarity, strength, alignment, quietly falls into place. Lesson 5. Surrender, the hidden strength within. There comes a moment in life when true strength is no longer measured by how hard you hold on, but by how gently you release. It is in this quiet moment of surrender that everything begins to shift. What if surrender isn't weakness at all? What if it is your greatest hidden superpower? Imagine for a moment a small boat struggling to row upstream against a powerful current. No matter how fiercely it paddles, it remains stuck, exhausted, or worse, begins to sink under the relentless force. But the instant the boat stops resisting and surrenders to the river's flow, it is carried forward with grace and ease. This is what surrender truly is. Surrender is not giving up on life. It is giving in to the reality of what is, instead of fighting what you cannot change. Most of us live in constant resistance. We battle outcomes, cling desperately to rigid plans, and wrestle endlessly with the unknown, believing this is ambition. But beneath it all is fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of appearing weak. Fear that without our iron grip, everything will fall apart. But here is a deeper truth. Control is an illusion, and resistance only drains your spirit. Surrender does not mean you stop caring about life. It means you stop suffering over things that are beyond your reach. You begin to take action from a place of clarity rather than chaos. You learn to move with life instead of against its natural current. Ask yourself honestly right now, where in my life am I forcing something that no longer flows? Maybe it is a relationship that has run its course, a career path that no longer ignites your soul, or a dream that is quietly transformed into something new. Are you rowing in circles out of fear of drifting into the unknown? Or are you ready to trust where the current might take you? Try this simple practice. Take a deep, mindful breath and say softly to yourself, "I don't know, and that's okay." Feel the space those words create within your chest. Feel the freedom in allowing life to remain mysterious. Remember, you don't need to have every answer before taking your next step. You only need to loosen your grip on the illusion of certainty. Reflect on your life for a moment. The most powerful turning points likely didn't happen because you planned them perfectly. They arrived when you least expected, when you surrendered, when you finally admitted, "I can't force this anymore." And suddenly clarity emerged. The right person entered your life, or the path before you lit up with quiet certainty. That is not coincidence. That is the natural clarity that arises from inner stillness. When the mind stops fighting, life begins to speak. In Buddhist philosophy, surrender is not passive resignation, it is active trust. Trust in impermanence. Trust in the wisdom of this moment. Trust that life is not something to be conquered, but something to align yourself with, like a river carrying you home. Buddha taught that clinging is the very root of suffering. Letting go is not failure, it is freedom. It is the doorway to true peace. Ask yourself today with courage, what am I still fighting that no longer serves my growth? Is it an outdated version of who you once were? An outcome you've become obsessed with? An identity built upon hidden fears? Perhaps surrender is the quiet bridge to your next level of life. When you stop demanding that life bend to your expectations, you begin to live fully in what it already is. And that is where true magic unfolds. Let go of the outcome. Anchor yourself into the sincerity of your actions. Do your part with love and clarity, then release the rest. This is not laziness. This is alignment. It is not indifference. It is inner peace. How much lightness and peace could you find by simply surrendering the fight today? Because when you finally let go, you realize everything was falling into place all along. Lesson 6. Embracing groundlessness, the secret path to inner freedom. There is a quiet fear that lives within so many hearts, a fear rarely spoken out loud. It is the fear of groundlessness, that unsettling space where nothing feels certain, where identities fade, and where the plans you built your life upon begin to crumble. And yet, it is precisely within this space that true transformation is born. Think of the tree in autumn, releasing its golden leaves to the silent earth below. It does not resist the letting go, for it knows that to bloom again, it must first stand bare. But we, unlike the tree, often cling to what is falling away. We grip onto titles, routines, relationships, and the identities we have carefully crafted for ourselves, not because they are deeply true, but because they feel familiar. Certainty becomes our comfort zone, but life's deeper truth lives only within uncertainty. Perhaps that is why so many feel stuck today. It is not because they are taking the wrong steps. It is because they are trying to control what cannot be controlled. They are waiting for life to become predictable and safe before daring to move forward. But here lies the hidden wisdom. Groundlessness is not a problem to fix. It is a portal to walk through. Think of the humble caterpillar entering its cocoon. The cocoon does not promise the caterpillar that it will emerge as a butterfly. It only asks that the caterpillar dissolves fully into the unknown. In the same way, your next evolution does not require certainty. It requires surrender. Ask yourself honestly, can I trust myself even when the ground is shifting beneath me? Reflect on your life's pivotal moments. Were they neatly planned, or did they arise from the chaos, from those moments when you felt as if everything was falling apart? Sometimes falling apart is actually falling into place, but only if you stop resisting and allow the unfolding to reveal its hidden purpose. Sit with the unknown. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it stretch you, break you open, and strip away everything that was never truly yours. Do not rush to fill the silence with easy answers. Let the silence itself speak its quiet truths to you. We have been taught to fear not knowing, but in Buddhist practice, groundlessness is considered sacred. It is the empty space where ego dissolves and truth gently emerges. It is where the chains of attachment loosen and the self remembers its deepest essence. When you no longer need everything to make sense, you awaken a new kind of power within, because now you are no longer negotiating with life. You are meeting it fully with an open heart. No guarantees, no scripts, just presence. Try this practice. The next time life feels unstable and uncertain, pause for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath. Say to yourself with gentle courage, "This too is part of my path." You are not lost. You are simply being remade. Stop asking for a perfect map. Become the quiet explorer instead. Allow life to shake you to your roots, and then notice what remains standing. Often, it is not what you expected, but it is always what is real. And what is real will never abandon you. Ask yourself today, am I clinging to certainty, or am I allowing myself to evolve through chaos? Am I trusting the unfolding, or still rewriting what already is? True growth is not about holding it all together. It is about allowing yourself to fall apart with grace. Let the old leaves drift away. Let the identities you've outgrown dissolve. Allow yourself to stand bare and open, for only then can something new take root within you. When you finally stop chasing after solid ground, you realize a deeper truth. You are the ground. You are the quiet stillness within every storm. So do not fear the unknown. Embrace it fully. That is where your next chapter lives. That is where your freedom begins. And when you finally let go of needing the world to stay still beneath your feet, you will discover that everything you seek is already rising from within. Lesson 7. Letting the moment guide you. The wisdom of flow. Imagine for a moment a quiet river weaving its way through valleys and forests. It does not question its path, nor does it resist the rocks, curves, or sudden drops along its way. It simply flows, adapting to each bend, each obstacle, and each hidden blessing it encounters. This is the essence of letting the moment guide you, the quiet art of surrendering to life as it unfolds. This is not giving up on your dreams or desires. It is becoming a humble student of life itself. Whenever you cling too tightly to control, micromanaging your career, obsessing over your emotions, gripping onto your identity, you pull yourself out of the only place where true peace and purpose exist, the present moment. Instead of living the moment, you begin to manage it. Instead of experiencing life, you start scripting every step, draining the joy out of each breath. But what if, just for today, you paused and asked yourself, what is life asking of me right now? What if instead of racing ahead into tomorrow or hiding in yesterday, you allowed this moment to become your guide? There is deep power in breaking free from autopilot. The mind loves to replay old stories or forecast fearful futures, but it rarely lives fully here, in the quiet now. Next time you catch yourself pushing through life as if it is just a list of boxes to tick, stop for a moment. Take a slow, mindful breath. Gently ask yourself, what is life inviting me to notice, learn, or feel right now? This one question shifts you from control to curiosity. It opens your eyes to hidden truths, fresh insights, and unexpected opportunities you might otherwise overlook. Perhaps you are experiencing delays or detours that feel unfair. But what if these moments are not punishments, but sacred pauses? What if the parts of life you wish to skip hold the exact lessons or healing your spirit longs for? When you surrender to life's timing, not your forced timing, but the quiet timing of the universe, you align yourself with a deeper wisdom. Instead of struggling against the current, you allow it to carry you where you are meant to go. Ask yourself gently, what wisdom does this moment hold if I stop resisting it? Because when you stop fighting what is, the moment begins to reveal its hidden gifts. Sometimes clarity, sometimes healing, sometimes simple, deep peace. And peace is always the foundation upon which all meaningful growth and action rest. When you anchor yourself in the present, your purpose becomes clearer. The chaos of the world no longer sweeps you away, because you are rooted in the only place that is real. This breath, this heartbeat, this silent now. Living in the moment does not mean passive acceptance. It is radical engagement with life as it is, instead of how you wish it to be. It is choosing to act without clinging, to embrace uncertainty without panic, and to love without needing to possess. Here, you begin to see that control was never the source of your power. True mastery was always found in flow, not in force. So ask yourself today, what happens when I stop trying to manage every moment and simply live it? Everything begins to align. Your career, your identity, your inner peace all find their natural rhythm. Because you are no longer swimming upstream against life's current, you become like the river itself. Strong, yet flexible, grounded, yet free. In this sacred flow, you will discover the quiet ease of a life lived in harmony with the moment, where peace and purpose walk hand in hand, and where letting go becomes your greatest strength. And when you finally allow the moment to lead, you realize that everything you were trying to force falls gently into place on its own. Conclusion: life often feels like a puzzle we're trying so hard to solve. But perhaps it was never meant to be solved, only lived, moment by moment, with an open heart and a quiet mind. Today, you've explored the hidden strength of letting go. You've discovered that surrender is not about giving up, but about trusting that life carries its own wisdom. That peace isn't something you achieve through control, but something you awaken by allowing yourself to simply be. So I invite you, as you step back into your day, to ask yourself, where can I let go a little more? Where can I soften my grip and trust life's unfolding? Because the more you release what no longer serves you, the more space you create for clarity, love, and authentic joy to enter your life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment now to like this video. It helps us reach others who may be seeking the same quiet strength and guidance today. And if you wish to continue walking this path of inner freedom and Buddhist wisdom, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each week, you'll find teachings and reflections here to help you remain grounded, calm, and deeply at peace, no matter what life brings. Finally, share in the comments below, what is one thing you are ready to let go of today? Your words may inspire someone else on their journey. Thank you for spending this time with me. May you move forward today with ease, with grace, and with the unshakable peace